Students these days are so incredibly, remarkably disrespectful, and they bring it with them the first moment they walk into your classroom. They don't have respect for you. And the reason for this is that we've become, at least the image of the teacher has become weak. They see us as pushovers. And the truth is, it's warranted. We have become pushovers. And so in this video, I'm going to give you 5 things you can do to reverse this trend, whether at your school or in your own classroom. And I promise you, if you follow these 5, even though your students may be disrespectful to every other adult they encounter throughout their day, they won't be disrespectful toward you. In fact, they'll see you as a leader worth following. Now, I want to mention that there are other cultural reasons why students are disrespectful. Kids are more disrespectful these days. Certainly that's true, but we have control in our own classroom how these kids behave and the way they perceive us by our own behavior. So we're going to go over these 5 things, and then I'm going to give you kind of one idea to take away with, okay? So first thing, really important, this is something you do in the beginning of the school year. You must lay it out. And what this means is that you're going to lay everything out on the table for your students as it relates to what they need to do to be successful in your classroom. So this includes your classroom management plan, which is your rules and your consequences. It includes all of your routines, the expectations for when they enter your classroom and how they open laptops and how they transition, the expectations for how they ask a question, how they do their independent work, what that looks like, what is and isn't okay. It includes your grades and how to attain those grades exactly, precisely. They need to know within the first couple days everything to succeed in your classroom. You're going to lay it out on the table. So good teachers are completely transparent as to why they're doing these things. And for our students, we lay it out because it's best for them and their long-term learning. They're in your classroom to learn and develop their reading and writing, their thinking skills, and your knowledge of your subject matter. And so we do everything, we lay everything out for their benefit, to protect their right to learn and enjoy being in the classroom. So you lay it out up front. Number 2 is you must commit, whatever this is, whatever you're laying out. So whatever your procedures and policies and rules that you've decided on before the school year begins, you must commit to them also before the school year begins. That you are not going to give in to your promise. This is the number 1 reason why students don't respect teachers, is because everything is negotiable. Because they can push teachers around, they can get away with things. When teachers say these are the rules and these are the procedures, most students already believe that you're not going to follow through because that's been their experience. So you must decide, you must commit ahead of time that you're going to follow these no matter what, that they're going to have to pull a hook to pull you out of the classroom, to tear you out of the classroom before you give in to any of your policies and procedures. This leads to number 3 is, of course, you have to follow through. You have to have the courage of your convictions. If you say it, if you believe it, if you've written it down because it's best for your students, you have to do it. You have to follow through on it. You have to be tough enough and strong enough and care enough to do the right thing for your students. As a teacher, you have to make the hard decisions for them. School is the time for them to make mistakes. It's the time for them to fail, to learn hard lessons. And only you can do that. And so you must follow through on whatever it is. By the way, all this stuff must be taught in detail for your students. Everything, again, when you lay it out, there can be no question as to what your rules mean, how your routines, what's expected of each student throughout the time they're in your classroom. Okay, number 4. Focus on instruction. I visit a lot of classrooms. Very few are focused on instruction. Most are focused on, talking about the awards that the kids can earn. There's a lot of negotiation going on. A lot of students deciding what they're going to learn, and all these kind of things. This is not to say that we can't give students some choices, very specific choices on like project learning, for example. But as far as these things, this is non-negotiable. You're the leader of the classroom and you decide these things. And the reason is because you want to focus on instruction. The teachers who are focused on SEL and pulling students aside and counseling and discussing and questioning ad nauseum, all of the restorative practices with kids and all this sort of time-wasting things, what they do is they cause students to see you as weak, as giving in. They don't see it as you're doing them a favor. They think you're being weak, that you're a pushover and they can get away with things. That's how they see it. And here's the thing. It doesn't work anyway. None of that stuff, none of that extra kind of counseling and talking and having circles discussing feelings and how this person hurt them that way and this, it doesn't help in school. It doesn't help as you being the teacher. What helps is your great instruction, your inspired, compelling instruction. By the way, we have lots of resources over at Smart Classroom Management, exactly how to teach compelling lessons. The Happy Teacher Habits, that book, there's a whole chapter on that. So there are ways to do this. But the idea is that when they're with you, you are teaching inspired instruction. And when you shift responsibility after your lessons to them and let them start feeling some independence, start being successful and doing these things through the great inspired instruction, as their skills improve, their self-worth improves. All these areas that you want them to do better, all the kind of counseling things that don't work, what works is them doing hard things. What works is you proving to them that they can do what they didn't think they could do, or that no one else thought they could do. This is the answer. This is the secret to those kids feeling confident and feeling good about themselves and taking responsibility and accountability and growing in maturity. This is how it works. Through your focus on great instruction and giving those students the tools to be successful, which is also the theme for these three as well. Okay, number 5, your disposition. Your disposition. Many teachers have recognized this, of course, that students are more respectful, more disrespectful, I should say, by the day. And in response, they've started thinking, well, I've got to be tougher. I've got to be meaner. So they raise their voice. They glare at students, they lecture students, they tell them how to think and how they should feel, and they try to make students feel bad. They try to increase the punishments and the consequences and all this kind of stuff. But what it does is it's actually strength disguised as weakness. It's actually, students see it as weak and they'll just battle you. They'll try to wrest control of the classroom from you. It creates resentment. It puts you on one side, battling against your students on the other side. Nothing good comes from it. But here's the thing. As long as you are committed to these, you follow through and you do what you say you're going to do, all you need to do for your disposition, you can be as nice as you want. And you should be. We say at Smart Classroom Management that the magic is just being pleasant, just being consistently pleasant. This all frees you to do this. When you let your classroom management plan take care of behavior for you, when students know where the boundary lines are, when you follow through every time, you don't have to worry about that sort of thing anymore. You don't have to worry about trying to convince students to behave. This takes a lot of stress off your shoulders, and you can just be consistently pleasant with students, which is a wonderful way to build rapport. It builds great relationships and influence and leverage with students naturally and organically. And so your disposition, as long as you do these, it gives you great freedom. Discipline, your own personal discipline equals freedom and less stress. So if you do these 5 things, you'll see a completely different experience, completely different classroom. It's important to mention that you may have questions about how to do these things, and we have how many? We're closing in on 900 articles on the website, on the Smart Classroom website, talking about each of these things extensively. We also plan on doing videos in the future on these topics. One last thing, the takeaway that I want to give you is just these 5 simple things, and your students will love being in your classroom. This has been tested over and over and over again. And this love for classroom is something that it's a cornerstone of Smart Classroom Management. It's absolutely critical to learning, to kids loving school, and to you enjoying your job. But really, it's your discipline doing these, and your kids are going to love being there. Okay, I hope this helps. Please do me a favor. If you haven't already, please subscribe, give this video a like, and leave a comment below. I'd really appreciate it. Hope you're having a great week. See you next time.